If you have a reactive dog, there's a very good chance that you are accidentally making it worse. Not because you don't care, but you're missing a few key points of what actually drives this behavior. Now, I work with reactive dogs and their owners every single day here at my training facility, and most of them are making at least one of these mistakes. Most of the time, more than one. In this video, we're gonna talk about the top 5 mistakes that reactive dog owners make, and the last one is the one that actually changes everything for most of the owners that I work with. So be honest, if you have a reactive dog, do you feel like their reactivity is getting better? If so, what are you doing? Is it getting worse? What's making it get worse? Let me know in the comments. I want to help you. All right, let's get into it. Number 5 is waiting until it's too late. Most owners, if they do anything at all, they only try to do something once the dog's already exploding at their trigger. And at that point, the dog's not thinking anymore. The dog is just reacting. But reactivity starts so much sooner than the explosion. It starts when they start fixating on their trigger. It starts when they start pulling hard towards their trigger. When their body language starts to stiffen up. When you can tell they just completely lost sight of you, you're just totally being ignored in that moment. That's your moment. That is when you have to interrupt this behavior. Otherwise, you're always going to be behind it. Mistake number 4, letting your dog practice it every day. If your dog is reacting on every single walk, and every single walk they are just exploding at either the dogs, the cars, the bikes, the kids, the people, you're just reinforcing the problem. Every reaction is a rep, and reps build habits. You quite simply cannot fix reactivity while your dog is rehearsing the reactive behavior every single day. You have to control the environment better first. If you've missed some of the videos in my reactive dog series, I talk about how exactly to do this. Go check those out. Mistake number 3, only trying to fix the behavior on walks. Most people think that reactivity is just a walk problem because that's where they see it the most. But in most cases, it's so much more than that. With so many of the reactive dogs and their owners that I work with, most of the time these dogs are following their owners everywhere, reacting to every single change and sound in their environment. These dogs never settle. They cannot do it for longer periods of time especially. And these dogs are always on. They are stimulation seekers. They always need to be doing something. And if your dog's doing that inside, and you expect them to go outside where it's actually way more entertaining and distracting and they're gonna all of a sudden be calm, nope, not gonna happen. Because in most cases, reactivity is a lifestyle problem that you have with your dog, not just a leash problem. All right, number 2 here, and this one is huge, but number 1's even bigger, but here, number 2 is never teaching your dog what the walk is supposed to look like. Most people never teach the dog what they actually are supposed to do on the walk. They just clip the leash on and let the dog do whatever it wants. So of course the dog is pulling constantly, crisscrossing, getting in front of you, going behind you, going between your legs, dragging you to every single smell from left to right, up, down. They're trying to drag you everywhere. They're constantly scanning the environment for something to bark at. And they're spending the entire walk making decisions. And then people are surprised, they're shocked when the dog reacts, they start barking at things. But guys, think about this. If your dog is just doing whatever it wants on the walk, when you're not seeing any of their triggers, and they just know that they are mentally and physically leading the walk, why would they think it's not their job to handle the environment, handle the situation when one of the triggers pops up? You need to teach your dog what the walk is actually supposed to look like. And that means you're staying connected with your dog. Your dog should be checking back in with you every now and then, making sure that we're on the same page together. Your dog should be responding to leash pressure. So there should not be any tension, no matter how long your leash is. If you have a 2-foot leash or you have a 100-foot leash, there should be no tension on your dog's leash. They should absolutely never be dragging you anywhere. That doesn't mean that you're not giving your dog ample opportunities to sniff the grass and go and be a dog and pee on whatever they want, but you gotta do it on your terms. You don't need to have a million rules when you walk with your dog or have them in a perfect heel the entire time. For example, I've got 2 rules, only 2, when I walk my 75-pound and up dogs. And 1 is no pressure on the leash ever. And 2, no reacting, no barking, no jumping, no lunging, none of that. And while I don't have a ton of rules, those rules do give the walk structure. And a structured walk creates a structured mind for your dog. So let me ask you, especially if you have a reactive dog, When you go on a walk with your dog, is your dog actually paying attention to you at all? Or do you feel like they're just doing whatever it is they want all the time? All right, it's time to talk about the biggest mistake that dog owners make with their reactive dogs, and it's one that a lot of people dance around. They don't want to do it. There are even so many trainers that are out there telling you this is the worst that you could ever do with your dog, and it's the reason why so many dogs stay reactive, and it's dog owners don't tell their dog no. Your dog is barking, they're lunging, they are pulling as hard as they can, they're losing their mind on the leash, and most owners just sit there and they just watch it happen, and they're like,
I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do? I've been told by so many people, I can't tell them no, it's gonna ruin our relationship.
But in reality, what your dog is learning here is I do whatever I want and nothing happens. There's no interruption of the behavior. There's no consequence for the behavior. There's no bit of communication happening at all from the owner. So why would you think your dog thinks that that behavior is bad? Because remember, in most situations, most dog behaviors that we don't like are very normal dog behaviors. When a dog gets excited and they bark out of frustration towards another dog, that's normal behavior. However, just because it's normal doesn't mean we need to allow it. So in these situations, when you're just letting your dog act like a lunatic on the leash, they're not learning from you that they're not allowed to do it. So if they're not learning that they're not allowed to do it, they're actually indirectly learning that they are allowed to do it. You need to clearly communicate to your dog that this behavior is absolutely unacceptable on this leash. Most importantly, you don't do this aggressively. You don't do this emotionally. You do this calmly. You do this clearly with clear communication on your leash and with what you're saying to the dog. Because even if your dog knows what they're supposed to do instead, but they keep choosing the wrong thing and you never address that, you're gonna stay stuck forever. Now remember, reactive dogs are not bad dogs. These are dogs most of the time that have no idea that their behavior is even bad. These dogs are confused, they're understructured, and they're allowed to rehearse the wrong behavior over and over and over again. So if you have a reactive dog, start here. Think about, ask yourself, am I making any of these 5 mistakes? You want to catch this early. You want to catch this ideally in level 1. Out of my 3 levels of reactivity, you want to catch this in level 1, where it's the easiest to fix. You catch it early, you stop the reps, you start fixing your lifestyle with your dog, you start structuring your walk, and you're going to see a massive change. And yes, tell your dog when they're wrong. Tell them no, correct the behavior, correct the stuff you don't like, unless you want to live with a reactive dog for the rest of your life. That's actually how behavior changes. Take that from somebody who does this every single day professionally with reactive dogs all the time, and somebody who was a reactive dog owner myself with my dog Booker, who was a level 3 reactive dog. If this helped you at all, please like the video. It helps me so much in being able to reach more dog owners in need. Drop a comment below if you are struggling with any of these and you're looking for solutions. I'm here to help you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're looking for real, no bullshit dog training content that actually works. I'm the Big Dog Guy, and I'll see you in the next one.